Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back yet again to the Sex, Drugs, and Jesus podcast. My name is DeVannonSeraphino. It's so lovely to have you here with me again, as always. Today, we move into our first tarot lesson. I'm going to be going over the first 12 cards of the deck, going from card 0, the Fool, to card 11, which is the Justice card. And at least I'm using the rider deck. And so in that card, in this deck, card 12, card fucking 11 is the justice, not like that in every deck. I'm going to be giving an overview. I'm going to talk to you about what life path numbers are. We're going to hit on the astrology, the zodiac, like in kind of like a mild review of it, and kind of talk about kind of how it ties in. And then next time we'll go over the other cards. I'll explain what major arcana is and minor arcana, going over a little bit of the history of the tarot and go from there. The website is sexdrugsandjesus.com. The YouTube channel is under the same thing, Sex, Drugs, and Jesus Podcast. And our TikTok channel is also Sex, Drugs, and Jesus Podcast. Lots of resources on the website and in YouTube, especially on YouTube, a lot of interesting playlists, fitness playlists, LSD tracks playlists, all kinds of things like that. So check it out. First thing about the tarot, I absolutely love the tarot. Why I started reading tarot cards was last year after I got out of that terrible relationship and I got kicked into my spiritual ascension, Kundalini rising, spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it. I went into a very rapid period of intense spiritual growth. My third eye flung open, even though I already have a natural third eye here. My crown chakra was just like wide open. It was so wild because I was going through so much torture internally. I didn't know, I felt like I wasn't going to live or die from one day to the next, crying, self destructing, and now the mental hospital. And yet I was growing spiritually at the same time. My dreams became more powerful, more clear. It's like the more my flesh got destroyed, the more my spirit grew. It was wild, so fucking wild. I mean, wild as fuck. And then I went to the internet, to YouTube. I just started looking around for something to help me make sense of how the fuck I was feeling. And then I came across on YouTube tarot readers. I had never looked at tarot readers before on YouTube or anything like that. And I just was drawn to it, or I don't know. I think the spirit just let it pop up in my feed when I was on there one day, maybe posting for the podcast or something. And they have it, most people have it broken down by like your zodiac sign, which I currently don't do readings like that. But there's really, everybody kind of cycles through the same thing eventually anyway. But it's nothing wrong with being specific by zodiac signs. This lesson today will tell you which cards correspond to which zodiac sign. I'm certainly not against it, but the Lord hasn't led me to do readings like that yet. But who knows what tomorrow holds? This time, I mean, 2 years ago, wouldn't have picked up a tarot deck, and now I have six. So you don't know what you gonna do or what's gonna happen from one day to the next. Okay, who knows what you could become? And I would feel such peace listening to these readers talk about things like betrayal and broken hearts, people doing you dirty, and I just felt like I wasn't alone, and I felt very strengthened and comforted and validated, like reading the comments from other people, dealing with the narcissist, which is what I was dealing with, and cheating, and 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 also being promised like light, to come after all of the betrayal and the Three of Hearts and the 10 of Swords and the Nine of Swords Knights and things like that. It really did my heart good to feel such comfort in that. And then poking around at it, I began to understand that if you get a tarot deck, even if you don't read for other people, if you just flip it around, play with it, and try to read it for yourself, it can help to increase your clairvoyance and your psychic awareness and help to open your third eye. And so I got a deck. I wanted to look into it. I was like, well, I'm already awakening. Maybe if I get a deck, I can kind of fuck with this shit and help, enhance this awakening. And then I just got into it more because I grew more because I'm into all kinds of occult divination and things like that anyway. And I just began to really take ownership of my psychic abilities and my clairvoyance. And I just leaned into it and I learned to trust what the spirit is telling me. And I just dove all into it. not both feet, not both hands, full body, soul, all 7 of my spiritual bodies, which I'll teach you a lesson about your 7 spiritual bodies in a different lesson to come. I dove in with everything I had. Okay, took my ancestors and my angels and the high trinity before whom I serve with me. Yes, God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost has everything to do with the tarot. Also, the tarot, and this came back to me last year when I started getting into them. So tarot cards are basically like tattoos, okay, on a card. Like I'm holding up the Fool card right now, which is the first one we're going to talk about today. Tarot cards are basically like tattoos. When I was in about the ninth, 10th grade in high school, I didn't start getting tattoos till last year. I tell you, this ascension I went through changed everything. I changed my last name legally and spiritually. I started getting tattoos. I moved to New York. I got rid of my car, all kinds of things. I went through it, and I'm thankful for it. But when I was in high school, I woke up and there was a tattoo on this arm. A spirit put this tattoo on my arm overnight. It was like in a perfect square, like a tattoo artist had done it. Like we would say when we evaluate tattoos, like, got straight lines and everything. Yes. And it was, I couldn't read it, but I happened to have an appointment that day with the high clairvoyant who raised me, Dorothy Nelson, evangelist Dorothy Nelson. And happenstance, no. The spirit knew I was going to that counseling, to that psychic spiritual counseling session, and so the spirit let this mark be put on me because it was a mark of warning. I sat there with that tattoo on my arm all day, freaking the fuck out. I couldn't get it off. I couldn't wash it off with soap and water or anything. And I show up to this psychic reading, and she does the some people call it angelic handwriting. She would call it handwriting in the spirit. She would just have like a plain sheet of paper and a black ink pen, and and her hand would just like go. The spirit would get in her hand and just move it, and it would just look like scribble. But she could interpret that scribble and tell me everything about my life, past, present, and future. It was insane. It would be like a whole hour reading, and this is what God was sending down through her to tell me, and it was always the truth, totally accurate. I don't do with any kind of psychic that even much needs to talk about accuracy because either God is talking to you or he not. So I don't get into this. Is my reading accurate? If God is speaking, then yes, it is, period. And that's all. And that's what I grew up around. So I kind of like, I'm not judging my fellow readers and clairvoyants because everybody has a different way that they are. But we got to have confidence in what we're hearing and things like that and be sure where the power's coming from. Now, one difference is me and the people who raised me only prayed to God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost. We did not have other deities. We were not polytheistic. And that's where all the power came from. So there was never any confusion or anything about accuracy or what we were hearing because we don't have many voices in our head. We're only listening to God and God alone. And my angels and ancestors, I feel like assist me in the work that I do. I don't pray to them directly. I only pray to God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost, the end. But when I got to the counseling session after it, I remembered I had the tattoo and I was like, this appeared on my arm. I guess the spirit put this on my arm overnight. She looked at it and she was like, that's a woman's heel stepping on your path. It was like and I looked at it and when she said it, it made sense. It was like a squiggly line with another thing like that is a woman's heel. We went through 2 different types of blessed oils, and not the olive oil. I don't think maybe we tried the general olive oil. We went through two different types of blessed oils to get that thing off of my arm. And and what that was is somebody was working against me. There was some sort of energy trying to impede me. And we have to be very, very careful with like the power and the strength of feminine magical energy because it is very, very strong. Whether that's channeling through the queers who are very in touch with a lot of our feminine energy or like actual genetic females. Every like psychic couple or spiritual couple that I've known, the female has always carried more strength than the male every damn time. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because men have such physical earthbound strength and females are more like psychic and emotional. I guess that would make sense. I also think maybe the Lord is balancing. the fact that men have such natural strength and giving women more internal spiritual strength. This is why it's very easy for women to cast magic against males. And I thought about this when I saw like Twilight, and the female when she turned into a vampire or a wolf, whatever the fuck she turned into. I think she was fucking stronger than the other fucking people. I'm like, that's about right. Like females carry that essence to them. So you got to really, really be careful about like feminine energy trying to overthrow masculine energy because they do it all the time. Like a lot of the candles that are out there that I have not really seen like say a controlling or dominating candle that has like a man trying to control a woman. Those things are like women controlling men. Do as I say spell work as they call it. Spider Queen spell work is specifically usually geared towards a feminine force trying to dominate a masculine force. And so we have to really be careful who we let ourselves get around. I will warn y'all until I'm blue in the face about witchcraft because it is so prevalent. It is so out there. And women have this thing about wanting to control men. They can't do it directly, but they damn sure can through voodoo and witchcraft. They do it all the motherfucking time. And what that tattoo on my arm meant, well, there was some feminine force somewhere trying to work against me, but my evangelist was able to get rid of that and we didn't have no problems because the Lord sent a warning on this through this tattoo. The spirit gonna always tell his children what's going on and then give us the remedy on how to deal with it. So boys, y'all better be careful when y'all out there climbing in bed with these people, thinking that they love you or thinking that you just having some quick sex or whatever. It don't take but a second to get witched in bed with somebody who's witch enough that you can't tell what they look like. There's no look. They don't run around with crooked noses and pointy hats. Darling, it's just Halloween. Today's witches wear clothes from the Gap, Forever 21, wherever it is that females shop at, Zara and shit. They don't. There's no look that she's not gonna tell you if she cursed a gemstone bracelet and gave it to you. She's not gonna tell you if she put something in your food and your drink to control you or to give you some sort of sickness. She won't tell you. That be paranoid, no, but mind your spirituality so that you're close enough to God so He can tell you. And if you got something dangerous around you and you can feel it. That's the danger people get in if they don't want to fuck with God and their spirituality is just whatever. Okay, but you leaving yourself vulnerable for very strong evil attacks from people. And there's when one day I went from getting my nails done, and the person who does my nails was telling me how her son was killed by a sex witch. I left there and went to this like straight party at this bar here in Manhattan. I don't drink, but I would just go into this bar because it was with this organization that I was trying to get familiar with. And just this dude, I don't know, just people see these tattoos and stuff on me and they start telling me magical things. And so, because they feel like it's safe. And so the dude was telling me, and it is safe. I'm not about to judge nobody. Like, he was telling me how he was witched, but he got out of it. His homie was witched, but he ended up in the mental hospital over it. On a previous show, I tell you about how my dad was witched and he ended up in the mental hospital. These are all straight people getting witched by females. It happens more often than you might fucking think. But ain't nobody really just gonna say, how the fuck do you walk up to somebody and be like, yeah, I got me some pussy or whatever. And now I'm fucking going crazy because I think that bitch doing something to me. you know, people want to, tout about and be all pretty in their little profiles online in these dating apps. But if they get witched, that's not cute. They don't want to tell anyone that. But you can't deal with that shit by yourself. You need help to get out of that. And I want to extend like a heart of compassion because a lot of fucking people have responded to the posts that I've been doing on witchcraft and stuff like that, asking for assistance and how to undo the spell work. And I'll tell you all, message me, send me a message. I'll send you a couple of spells, a couple of things you can do. Although it's better for you to have somebody grab your hand and walk you through it because that stuff has a way of liking to stick. Because when you get ready to walk away from the devil, from Satan, he's not a gentleman. He's not very interested in letting you fucking go. He's more like Ike Turner, like, "What, you think you gonna leave? You think you gonna leave me? Oh, I don't think so. Oh, hell no. Like, literally, hell no. The devil don't wanna let you go. He's gotten quite accustomed to having you around, but let you go he will, because today we rebuke him in the name of Jesus, and we not having none of his nonsense. Oh, no, ma'am, not today, Satan. Not today. You gotta it's easier for you if you have somebody with that type of connection to the other side. But I'm not just gonna leave you out there hanging like that, even if you don't have nobody and you wanna at least try to do something, or you got a friend who's suffering, I could at least, shoot you some pointers or something, you know? So just message me if you think you've been witched or you know somebody who has, or you just wanna have something in your insurance, toolkit in case you fuck up and come across some shit. But this is not something those sort of like things to bring you out of that are not like so you can say go do a bunch of hoeing around and then every time you get witched, go back and do this, or just let yourself casually let energies into your life through people you're not verifying and get witched and then just go run back and do these rituals to undo it. You can't fuck around with the divine like that. You got to be sincere. If you doing this, then you stop having sex if you've been witched because you don't want to spread spiritual STDs to people. And you just calm your ass down and you take time to yourself, get your energy cleansed, and then slowly, prayerfully re-engage into your sex and dating life and be much more discriminate the next time around and get off of the apps. And things just ain't right. Anyway, I digress with my whole tattoo and witch thing. But it's out there, y'all. It's just so out there. I can't tell you how much spells get cast on people all the fucking time. It was enough to make your head split. And people just can't figure out why the fuck they thoughts won't settle, why they can't sleep at night, why they can't. So, having said all that, tarot cards are basically like tattoos. Tattoos, a few different things translate well in between the spirit world and the physical world. Water, fire, smoke, vocal sounds, or any kind of noise, any kind of sound. The sound is not something you can hold, it's something that can be heard and felt. Music, same kind of concept. Different kind of sprays, things that carry scents to it, besides, like incense and different sprays and things like that. Vibrations that we emanate from our thoughts and our soul. Smoke, if I didn't say that already, they transfer doorways, okay, or something that spirits and humans seem to be able to. All of those things are things that spirits and humans seem to both see and deal with. And so in drawings as well, like on voodoo candles, there's usually drawings and things like that to help convey the sense of what it is. The way they work is the intention of that drawing is infused with the wax, the color of the wax and that flame, and it creates a power to help draw in or to draw in what you wanted to create the effect you're trying to have. But that's because of that drawing on that candle. Drawings matter. One of the ways Two of the ways that people can break spells have absolutely everything to do with what you draw, like on paper, like in what you do with it. Drawings matters. People see it. I don't know why. It's just how the fuck it is. And so from that tattoo, because that spirit wrote that tattoo on my arm to communicate to me. So spirits understand tattoos. That's why I only have tattoos on me that can be used for divination, to worship God, or in spell work. I don't have Mickey Mouse or like, I don't know, fucking whatever on me like that. Nothing against Mickey Mouse. If you got Mickey Mouses, Mickey is a bad bitch. But for me personally, because I understand tattoos, and in shamanism and in high spiritual circles, we all believe that tattoos are portals anyway. Therefore, therefore, just as sure as that tattoo on my arm was written there by a spirit, And these tattoos on these drawings on these tarot cards are here. These tarot cards are portals. These tarot cards have power. These tarot cards are things that spirits will pay heed to and communicate to us through, just like that spirit did who wrote that tattoo on my arm that I talked about just a second ago when I was in high school. That's why I know these are valid. They're not to be played with. And we can have some amount of fun with them, but I don't get on here to joke because this is like hearing directly from heaven through this. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, through this power that He has given us through these cards. They're not just to be pretty or for entertainment. This is real. Divination is real. Hearing from the Lord is real. And if you're dealing with somebody low vibrational as fuck, then hearing from their devils are real too. So before you go run your ass to a reading with somebody, you better ask who the fuck they're listening to. The dead, the devil, one of them deities out there people like to pray to, all the above. You know, don't just assume that it's a being you would pray to or trust because they have tarot cards and you're desperate for an answer. Do not let any type of divination control our life. Some people are so strung out on tarot that they can't go on a date, make up their mind on a job, do nothing without starting their day or ending it with tarot cards. It's very fucking interesting to see what's going to pop out the deck, but like all things, we must maintain self control. Go and this does not take the place of prayer. This does not take the place of having God in your life and putting Him first. This is an extension of His communication to us. Some things work different for different people. Some people pray to have a very direct line. The Lord speaks to somebody like with my evangelist through the handwriting in the spirit. Some people use tarot cards. Some people use scrying in water. Some people use crystal balls. Some people use reading coffee grinds or tea leaves. You know, there's a million different ways to hear from God. But the important thing is that we're caring to listen. God understands there's plenty of variety that He's provided in this earth, and He has met that variety with all these different ways that we can hear from Him. Tarot cards is but one way, but none of that takes the place of God Himself and talking to God Himself. We must not worship what God has given us more than and not worship Him. We shouldn't worship these at all. We can be thankful for them, but we should only worship Him. And I encourage everybody to get at least one deck for yourself, just to play with it to open your clairvoyance. Because I've seen some people get really angry at tarot readers online if they like dare to go on vacation for like a day. Because a lot of readers who do it like for their money, for a career, do the shit like daily or weekly. And then people get hooked on them being there for their comfort and support, and they develop like a codependency on the reader. You know, when the reader comes back, they'd have been read for filth and shit because they just they went on vacation and this person who is codependent on them just could not deal because the reader was out of town. No, just get your own deck and take that as an opportunity for you to expand your own skills while that reader is out of town. I'm just going to leave that at that. Life path numbers is something I wanted to mention. I'm going to read something from numerology.com. I will not get into how each life path number can relate to a tarot card because one thing about tarot, you have all of this different stuff on this card, colors, the name, the number at the top, all the symbols, everything in this card has some type of meaning. It's highly subjective. There's many books that I've read through and have read through and will continue to read through a lot of stuff online. Every tarot readers, what they say is is valid as far as they're concerned, right? Because there's no one right or wrong way to read a card. So I might read through it and not pay attention to the number if the spirit is not drawing my eyes to that number. I might be in the foolery more concerned on the dog or the sun in the background or the bag he has over his head. It depends on what that person needs on that day at that time, what the spirit is going to bring up. We can't talk about everything in the card. The colors mean something, the textures with the designs on the cloth, everything has a purpose. So I'm going to tell you what numbers are. And then just so I think that people should know about life path numbers because they're actually, I think, quite accurate. They're kind of zodiac-y in nature, but not really. So I'm just going to read this as we go through. I'll tell you which life path number applies to what, which is simply the number at the top of the card. Now, when you're reading these tarot cards, if the card had a five on top of it, that would be life path number five. Or what does that mean in numerology? And if, you know, if it's a love reading, you can go, what does it mean in love numerology? If it's card like number 20, then that actually reduces down to 2. Just because life path numbers there is no life path number 20. And so, but at the same token, you can be like numerology 20 or numerology 2 and numerology 0 if you're dealing with 20. So I won't get off on a tangent with the numbers. I just thought you should know in case you want to look up your life path number. It might help you understand yourself better. In numerology, there are myriad of numbers that have a significant impact on your life. But the most important and influential number is in your personal numerology is your life path number. Whether you're brand new to numerology or looking to expand your understanding of your numerology chart, one of the best places to start is by revealing your life path number and its powerful role in your life. Your life path number represents who you are at your core, the person you are spending this lifetime learning to become. It is derived from the numbers of your birth date and influences you your entire life. In some ways, the life path number in numerology is like the sun sign in astrology. It is an indicator of what is important to you, how you act and react, and how you process life. But do not think of your life path number as a simple list of traits that are meant to tell you exactly who you are. While each life path number carries a unique set of both positive and negative traits, how they manifest is up to you. Life will present you with many chances to flex the muscles of your life path number, but you will be the one to choose whether to take the high road or the low road in each situation. This choice you make and the consequences it brings will help guide you in your next decision and so on. Each experience is a lesson on how to become your highest and most authentic self. That's a beautiful thing when we know that whatever the fuck happens, there's a lesson to it. No matter what it is. If you get offended, there's a lesson to it. If you get offended, somebody hurts your feeling, you both have lessons. If I get offended, I can teach myself by how I respond to that offense compared to how I once would have responded to that offense, make a plan how I want to in the future if I'm not satisfied with how I currently am responding. The person who did the offending can learn a lesson by considering, why did I act that way towards that person? And then make a plan to do better in the future. And then you both can talk about whether or not the offense is actually valid, if anyone is being overreactive, or if the person or if anybody's being underreactive. It's a whole ass lesson in everything, even when we hurt each other's feelings. The life path numbers go from 1 to 9. Then you have 11, 22, and 33. 11, 22, and 33 are what are considered master numbers. And I'm going to leave that at that. This is your homework. If you want to look up life path numbers, Google it, go do it, get you a book and all of that and have fun with it. I just thought you should know a little bit about the history of the tarot. I'm going to read this from my book, a practical guide on how to read tarot. Just think of it my first tarot book. And this is just what I thought. I like the way it sounded. There is really no one concise thing on the history of tarot. It's kind of like how I tried to look up the history of the Zodiac and astrology. It's a little bit all over the place. But just like with them, you can tell by the accuracy of the readings that there's power to and that God is in it because we can test it in real time to see if it's worth anything. Nevertheless, history of the tarot. Many theories abound about the tarot's beginning. One is that the Great Library of Alexandria in Egypt, whose female librarian Hypatia was world renowned for her wisdom and learning, housed scrolls containing all the knowledge of the ancient world. Among these scrolls was the legendary Book of Thought, derived from the mystery schools of ancient Egypt. The allegorical illustrations on tarot cards are said to contain these secret teachings, which is the Major Arcana, represent a course in personal and spiritual development. The Minor Arcana, which was added to the tarot at a later date, may have derived from an Italian card game known as Tarocchi. Our present-day poker decks closely resemble the Minor Arcana of the tarot. Tarot images are inextricably linked to ancient beliefs, mythologies, and religious systems such as the Hebrew Kabbalah. That's talking about like the Kabbalah tree of life. The card's numerological associations have been tied to the Greek mathematician Pythagoras, who taught that letters and numbers contain divine essence and extraordinary powers, unrealized by the uninitiated. That's enough. There's all kind of stuff about the Catholic Church and gypsies. It's all over the place. The shit here now. That we get to use what God is telling us in real time to do it. However it comes here now. I probably a little bit of all of that. And there's people who say, like I mentioned the book of thought in there, there's some people say that's bullshit. That couldn't possibly be. Well, they don't think so. Well, they said it's a theory. Who gives a fuck? We here now. I just thought you should know. So, like that reading was saying, you have trump cards, major arcana. Major arcana cards, there's 22 cards. And this is like what is considered like the divine having an influence. This goes from the Fool card, which I just held up, to the World card. And the major arcana means the Fool starts his journey, and then each card is a cycle, an experience or a situation, a lesson that the Fool is going through: life, death, transformation, all of that pain, sorrow, fulfillment, heartbreak, all the things that we go through from the Fool to the World. And then you have your minor arcana or pip cards, which cover your your elements: fire, earth, air, water. Fire are your wands, earth are your pentacles, air are your swords, your water are your cups. Fire is more like your initiation action energy. Earth is more like your stable energy, can deal with your money, finances, your body. The physical is very material in nature. Your air has to do with the mind, and then your water has to do with your emotions. It is not the cups. That is the emotion, is the water inside of the cups on the cards. In the minor arcana, you have 14 cards in each suit: the suit of wands, the suit of air, and so on. You're going to go card ace, which is technically card 0, to card 10. Tens represent the end of a cycle. After that, you have the page, the knight, the queen, and the king in each of those elements: fire, earth, air, water. As a review, from the zodiac, your cardinal signs represent the beginning of a season, your fixed signs represent the middle of a season, your mutable signs represent the end of a season. Now we have our 12 zodiac signs: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Okay, so let's start with card 0. I'm going to read the numerology first. Then I will tell you the life path number, then the zodiac sign and planet, the season of the year and its element, and then we'll talk about the card meaning, which I will be reading from this other book I have, the complete book of tarot, a comprehensive guide. Lou Allen's Complete Book of Tarot by Anthony Lewis. So in numerology, the number 0 holds a unique position in spiritual symbolism, not only a starting point, but also infinite potential and endless possibilities. That does sound very the Fool to me. It serves as a cosmic emblem, embodying the concept of boundless opportunity and the cyclical nature of existence. This is the starting point that comes before the changes. This does not have an applicable life path number because it is the number 0. The zodiac sign associated with the Fool card is Aquarius. The planet associated with the Fool card is Uranus. Aquarius is a fixed sign which occurs in midwinter. The element is air for the Fool card. The card meaning, according to good old Llewellyn, when upright, the Fool suggests a leap of faith and a desire to explore the unknown with a beginner's mind. The Fool has a basic trust that things will turn out well in the end, but he has not yet acquired the ability to navigate his way skillfully through the practical affairs of everyday life. He is starting out on a new and exciting journey in which he will encounter marvelous adventures and seek spiritual growth. When this card appears in a reading, it is important to keep your wits about you as you take risks and explore the unknown. At the same time, this card cautions you to avoid foolish idealism and not undertake mundane projects unless you are well prepared for handling any pragmatic aspects. So what this is saying about the fool here, this is very fearless, youthful energy. I like how he has his little spirit animal there trying to warn his ass not to hop off the cliff and shit. But this is how we have to take that, have that attitude, like no matter what the fuck we do, it's gonna be all right. Now, this is a yellow card. This is a very optimistic card. He has that red feather in his cap that that little baby does in the sun card that has that day fucking flower cap on. He has that same red feather there. These are very optimistic cards. He has a white flower in his hand. You know, this is bravery. This is when we're not afraid. Fuck it, it's gonna be all right. Let's just try some shit. We ain't got time to stay here being paralyzed. There's much to do and things to see. And we believe that the divine is gonna carry us on the way. It's exactly what the Fool card is about. Card number one is called the Magician. Oh, Lord, yes. That's me. This card and the other one we're gonna discuss are me, the Magician and the Hierophant. But for right now, in numerology, there's so much motivation and momentum surrounding this single digit number. It is a true pioneer, eager to break ground on new endeavors and pave the way for others to follow. It is a natural leader and a proactive force. The number one represents newness, movement, and the possibilities that await us. In spiritual symbolism, it is the number of creation and the birth of all things, the divine origin of the universe. In numerology, the number one is the root of opportunity in our lives. It is a symbol of confidence, power, and action. It pushes us to look at our current circumstances and realize that we have the power to turn them into anything we wish, even if we are afraid. The one inspires us to take control of our future and embrace new beginnings. So this will be life path number one. The zodiac sign for the magician is Gemini. Its planets are Virgo and Mercury. Season of the year would therefore be mutable because Gemini is a mutable sign, which happens in the end of spring. The element here is also air. The card meaning. When upright, the magician symbolizes a person of great willpower who has mastered the knowledge and skills needed to achieve his goals. As depicted in Llewellyn's classic tarot, the magician can access the cosmos above and the earth below as he juggles the four elements to manifest his desires. Ruled by the planet Mercury, the magician is a gifted communicator of intense mental focus who can translate ideas into effective action. Things related to the magician have to do with directing one's will and focusing one's consciousness to manipulate physical reality. This is that card where people usually say as above because his hand is pointing up with this wand, and then so below because his other finger is pointing down to the ground. As I mentioned earlier, the suits that we'll talk about after we make it through the major arcana, earth, air, water, fire, pentacles, cups, wands, swords, are all on the table. They're all on the table. So homie right here has all power. He's giving us his avatar, the last airbender energy. He got water, air, earth, fire, all of that. He got all of that. He has this infinity symbol looking like a halo glowing above him. And that's actually a snake biting its own tail there. Everything in this card has meaning to it. So this is about self-control, mastering the elements within yourself. Like with all of these cards, it's going to depend on what shows up next to it in a reading by itself. The magician would be like a yes card. If you had like a yes or no question you were asking. His red robe means things. Everything means things on these. But this card is very fucking badass. And it's strong when it shows up in a reading. You got good shit going on. We love the magician. And may we all learn how to master all the elements, and most of all, mastering ourself. And I love that he understands with his hands pointing up and down, that he's got to draw that power down from heaven in order to be able to command himself like that. But we will not be able to fully, truly control ourselves unless we let God help us. You can't will yourself into self-control. You need spirit. You need the help of the divine to truly be in control of yourself. The high priestess Okay. Which is basically like, you could say like the magician's counterpart. Okay. We don't look at gender in tarot, but because any of these energies, everyone's masculine and feminine. So if you ever want to look at them as representing a person or you, it could go either way. But in the tarot, the magician, the high priestess roll together. The fool is technically considered to be the child of the magician and the high priestess in terms of his spiritual parents. The next two cards we're going to talk about, the empress and the emperor, are considered to be the fool's earthly parents. The high priestess is card number two. Numerology number two is known to numerology as a supremely feminine force, one that represents both grace and power. It is cooperative, always aiming to bring peace and balance back to a relationship or situation. This numerology number is also very sensitive. Of all the numbers, it has the strongest intuition. It is able to sense currents and feelings instinctively, then use these clues to connect with others empathically. At its very core, the number two in numerology represents partnerships, the coming together or balancing of two individual people, concepts, or things. While it holds great power over any situation, it wields it with such diplomacy and tact that the result is not control and authority, but harmony and teamwork. It is a mediator, able to see two sides of a situation in an unbiased way and guide others down the middle road. Life path number is two. The zodiac sign is Cancer. The planet is the moon. Cancer is a cardinal sign, beginning and the beginning of summer. Element water. The meaning of the high priestess. When upright, the high priestess represents feminine intuition and empathic sensitivity. She gives you access to hidden knowledge, symbolized by the body of water on the card, and she encourages balanced judgment through intuitive awareness. Now is the time to quiet your mind and open yourself to the inner wisdom and that lies within. Pay special attention to your dreams and intuitive hunches. In this way, you can gain access to something unrevealed or not yet known about your future plans. In the words of Einstein, but there is no logical way to the discovery of these elemental laws. There is only the way of intuition, which is helped by a feeling for the order lying behind the appearance. In this in this Erfahrung is developed by experience. That's some kind of German word or something. Einfühlung is developed by experience. On this card, it's always been interesting to me. You have the B and the J pillars, the black and the white. The B stands, and she's holding the Torah. That's what that says, Torah, on there, which is like the Hebrew Bible. That B stands for Boaz and that J stands for Jachin or Jachin, however you would say it, Jachin, which are both from the Hebrew Bible. Boaz stands for his strength and Jachin stands for he will establish, meaning God will establish. And it's interesting because these black and white pillars here echo in the Chariot card, which I believe is card number 7. We have that balance echoed there. So the High Priestess is all about, this is a highly psychic, a clairvoyant card in the deck. It's super feminine and is about balanced knowledge, secret knowledge, being ready to learn, and she being willing to teach. If this card comes up, you probably psychic as fuck, or you got some sort of third eye that's about to open or has opened. The pomegranates and everything in the background hold meaning. The moon laying on the floor there next to her, that has to do with the hidden knowledge. And the beautiful thing is to be able to get this out. In the Hebrew scriptures, it talks about how the glory of God is to conceal the matter, but the honor of kings is to search it out. And it talks about how the heart of a king is unsearchable. But she's not gonna give you that knowledge till you're ready for it, until you can earn it. So you really got to go after that knowledge. The fool can't just come knocking on her door and be like, "I'm here, mom. Break it down, B. I need some fucking knowledge." Nope. He has to go through what he has to go through to be ready to handle that knowledge. All right, let's talk about the Empress. The Empress is card number 3. Ain't she beautiful? So, and they're basically preggers, The number three has a tendency to thrive in an upbeat and engaging atmosphere. Its energy is youthful and positive, and it has an incredible zest for life. It dances from one enjoyable experience to the next, eager to interact with others along the way. The prize skill of the number three is communication, and it uses this talent to build a wide and interesting circle of friends, lovers, and kindred spirits. The three is highly original and embraces unique thinking and creative expression. This number's artistic, curious nature allows it to convey abstract ideas and find solutions others may miss. A child at heart, the number three never misses a chance to have fun, engage with others, and express all the love and joy it embodies. I say that go along quite nicely with the bright yellow in this card. Very positive, lively, and upbeat. So this is life path number three because this is card number three. Zodiac sign is Taurus. The planet is Venus. Taurus is a fixed sign occurring in mid-spring. Element is earth. This is the earthly mother of the fool and the meaning of the empress. When upright, the empress symbolizes fertility, pregnancy, motherhood, sensuality, and creative imagination. This card may herald an impending marriage, the desire to have children, or the birth of a child. You're entering a period of productivity and abundance, often in the form of offspring of either the body or the mind. You're capable of great productivity as you assist the passage of your creative ideas through their birth canal. Support and nurturing are available. It's important to exercise proper care of the body at this time. And she has like all this crown of stars on her head and everything. This is a boss ass card. She's wielding all this power. All that wheat down there growing has to do with the abundance and fertility of this card. Is a very loving and nurturing card, but she's like basically pregnant and still holding her own. Even though she's a ruler, notice how comfortable her fucking chair is. This here is being in control of your shit from like a position of comfort and ease. She's not even trying that damn hard, but she understands when it comes times to push her ideas forward, her maybe literal children, if this comes up and it indicates a real birth. But she marinating in the process and she's not letting that stress her out. She's the boss and she fucking knows it. And then that's all that there is to it. And she's pretty as fuck. But it has a lot to do with things that have not happened yet, but are going to. And you're in the process of creating it and it's going to be fruitful and it will multiply. It has a lot to do with potential. Card number four is the Emperor. This boss ass dude sitting here looking like a pimp, like a motherfucking G's knee, like a fucking G, yo. Card number four, when strength and efficiency are needed, it's number four to the rescue. The four numerology is a no nonsense number with a heads down approach to life and work. It is extremely dependable and lends a great amount of stability to a person or situation. The four is dedicated to advancing, but in a more conservative way than a progressive one. It sticks to what is tried and true instead of attempting methods that are new. Even more than the number 13 in Western cultures, the number four is considered very unlucky in some Asian countries. There's even a name for the fear of the number four, tetraphobia. But in reality, the numerology number four carries a wise and rational energy that can bring us a sense of security and consistency. It has a strict definition of right and wrong and tends to see things as black and white with no gray in between. The number four leads with its head, not its heart, and uses its mental strength to build a life of service and contentment. Life path. That makes sense because the emperor don't take no fucking bullshit. It's a very rigid energy, but it's a very fair energy. It does lead with head, and not heart. But life path number four, zodiac sign Aries, planet Mars. Aries is a cardinal sign, beginning of the spring here in the northern hemisphere. Element fire. Let me read about the emperor, which Llewellyn calls ultimate secular authority. This is the fool's earthly parent. Hail to the chief, Llewellyn says. When upright, the emperor represents a person of authority, will, planning, organization, analysis, strategic thinking, and phallic masculinity. Okay. Lo and behold, the emperor is the father archetype, the lord and master who knows how to get shit done. I'm paraphrasing for Llewellyn with that one. A powerful leader, he takes charge, puts things in order, and protects those in his domain. He rules with his mind rather than with his heart. The emperor appears at a reading to remind you to step up to the plate, be true to your principles, and use your power to structure your life to accomplish what must be done. You need to set clear goals and establish firm limits so that you can provide stability and get the job done. So this card is about order in the way you approach things. And it's very authoritative. You know, when this card comes up, this is a strong leader, able to pull resources together, bring out the best in the people under you. You watch over your domain and you know that you're there to provide value and not to just rule with an iron fist. You ain't gonna take no bullshit, but there's fairness here. You know, there's a lot of fairness here, there's a lot of royalty for that Egyptian ankh that he's holding, that red color. And notice how he has on the armor under this here, though. His wife, if you want to call her that, the Empress, was marinating out in the fields on her cushiony throne. And he's sitting here on this throne of like fucking stone. He knows that whatever the fuck he did to become this emperor, he gonna have to keep doing that. And he might have to hop up and kick a bitch's ass who tries to usurp his authority or is disrespectful or some shit, or fucking with somebody in his kingdom at a moment's notice. He's enjoying his luxuries, but he hasn't forgot where he's come from. So he still has his armor on, if nothing more than a reminder of not to become complacent, because the fall down ain't pretty, and that could happen to anybody. Number 5, the Hierophant. This is the other card that represents yours truly in the deck. Oh my gosh, how hierophantic am I? I am the magician. I am the Hierophant. Done. Done. This is all there is to it. So number 5, a key characteristic of the number 5 is curiosities and the need for a variety of exciting experiences in order to feel fulfilled. It craves freedom and adventure and isn't afraid to let the wind carry it where it may. For the 5, life isn't about setting goals and making plans. It's about getting out there and experimenting. Anything that stirs the senses piques the 5's interest, and it can't wait to partake in the experience. The numerology number 5 is a master of change, able to go with the flow and adapt itself to thrive in different environments and social situations. It is happiest when things feel fresh, high energy, and full of possibility. The moment an experience starts to feel too routine or predictable, the 5 will move on to something more captivating. The only thing this number is truly attached to is being unattached. Life path is number 5. Zodiac sign is Taurus, planet Venus. It is a fixed sign occurring in mid-spring. Element is Earth. The Hierophant upright. When upright, they also call him the High Priest. The High Priest is a wise, spiritually oriented guide to whom the querent has recourse. This person may be a kindly teacher, a mentor, or a spiritual advisor, not infrequently connected with a religious or academic setting. One role of the Hierophant is to perform sacred rites that pass traditional wisdom on to the next generation. The High Priest often officiates at ceremonies such as weddings, baptisms, bar mitzvahs, funerals. I would throw in, I don't know, fucking shamanic psychedelic ceremonies and everything and the like, because this priestly figure has authority to unite couples in matrimony. This card can be a harbinger of marriage. In any case, when the Hierophant appears in a reading, you are likely to be dealing with the traditional values of your family, culture, or religion. This is the card of Taurus, so this is known to be a very fixed energy, which has a tendency to become too rigid. But it is a card of like very much like traditions and values. What do you stand for? What's your legacy? What do you represent? We're going to pass this down from generation to generation. This is like family coat of arms sort of things. This is like family core values. What do we stand for? Who are we? You see, he has these 2 acolytes down here. Homies come to learn because this boss ass person right here knows some shit that they don't. He has like these keys down here representing like keys to knowledge. He's dressed basically like the Pope and whatnot. But you know, this really represents like strong knowledge. This Hierophant pairs well with the High Priestess. also. I mean, they just kind of do. But and I mean, the high priestess is really also like the counterpart to the Hierophant, but I also look at the high priestess as being a counterpart to the magician too. Maybe they have a three-way relationship going on, and I'm totally fine with that as well. The next card is the Lovers. Bow chicka wow. We got the motherfucking lovers. Oh my goodness. This is card number 6. The number 6 is the embodiment of the heart. It represents unconditional love and the ability to support, nurture, and heal. It is a powerful force of compassion and empathy, and its warm light is a beacon of hope. Its role is to use its heart and soul to be of service to others. The 6 in numerology shines in partnerships of all kinds, but especially emotional ones. Its empathy makes others comfortable letting down their guard, being open and honest about their feelings, which in turn allows it to understand and provide the help that's needed. We could all use someone in our life who manifests the devoted energy of the 6. That's life path number 6, planet Gemini. Zodiac sign Gemini, planet Venus. This is a mutable sign which ends in spring. Element is air. Oh, the lovers. When upright, the Lover's card represents an important choice that will significantly influence the course of one's life. This choice may have to do with a romantic relationship or a decision to marry and have children. The associated Hebrew letter Zion conjures up the image of plowing a field and cultivating it wisely to ensure a good harvest. The decisions you make now will have long-term consequences, so it is imperative to think things through, get sound advice, and choose wisely. The association of the card with the sign Gemini suggests love between individuals that can endure for an eternity. I'm gonna tell you, if you're gonna bother to be in love with somebody, have connections, be sure that you have love that can endure for an eternity. Don't sell yourself short with cheap connections or even calling yourself being poly and being like having this avoidant attachment style that shows up, mask itself as polyamory when really you're afraid of a super deep connection with somebody. Because even if you're poly, you should have a primary partner or be open to having one. And the energy of a primary partner, the way I see it, isn't really that much different than if you were monogamous. The only difference is that you might have your other one or two little people you see once a month or every other month or whatever to do whatever with, but your level of vulnerability and transparency and availability with your primary partner, even if you're poly, should be just as deep and vulnerable and going for it, not worried about being hurt, just as if you were doing true monogamy. I love how this card speaks to union and balance. This is strictly speaking Adam and Eve with the tree of life, tree of knowledge of good and evil. You know, she got her apples over there. You got like fire on those leaves over there. This is Raphael. They say this is the Archangel Raphael, which people believe have to do with healing, blessing this union. This has to do with the duality of masculine and feminine energy, which must be balanced, which is within all of us before we can properly show up for any fucking relationship. And so that means women don't, people who are, females, don't be too fucking afraid to embrace your masculine side. Fellas, don't act like you don't have a feminine side. I think when I see this card, it gives me very trans energy because I really view most trans people as a strong embodiment of masculine and feminine energy because they've had to do so much work to figure out who the fuck they are. They've made their choices to have surgeries or not have surgeries. And then in order to do all that, you have to have a strong awareness of these energies and come to a place of peace. So this gives me strong like trans vibes. And I'm not trans, but I am damn sure here for all of the transness. And I think to me, this makes the energy and the spirit of trans looks very beautiful as it displays masculine and feminine out in this very colorful fucking card. The next card is the Chariot, which is card number 7. The number 7 is both deep and wise. It is not satisfied with simple explanations and surface level information. This is frivolous stuff. It knows that the real gold is buried deeper and won't stop until it finds it. And then it'll keep digging for more. No, that's fucking right. Asking questions, researching, listening, and sensing are all special skills the seven uses in its search for awareness. Through spirituality, though spirituality is especially important to the number seven in numerology, it takes a more intellectual approach to life than an emotional one. It is an analytical number that enjoys gathering and filtering through information to find answers. Still, it has a more powerful intuition than you might expect, which it uses as a guide. This combination of consciousness and subconsciousness thinking allows the mind of the numerology seven to shine a light into the very deepest realms to access hidden truth. This is giving me super consciousness vibes. Super conscious is a state of awakenness when you can command your conscious and subconscious. Okay. The subconscious doesn't have to control you from the background forever. You can access it and command that motherfucker. You don't have to do that. I'm very much fucking number seven. Isn't it interesting how we have black and white again, like we did back with the high priestess? So this will be life path number seven, zodiac sign, Cancer, planet, the moon. And the high priestess is also the moon. And this is a cardinal. Cancer is cardinal, beginning in the middle of a summer. And the high priestess was also Cancer as well. So these two cards are very linked together. Let me why. When upright, the chariot urges you to master the situation in the midst of changing circumstances. You must take the reins of the chariot on which you travel through life inside the protective shell of your personality. You have the necessary resources to accomplish your goals. Success will depend on your ability to use reason to strike a balance between your ambitions and your appetites, which may be pulling you in different directions. It is important to set clear boundaries and to respect your own limits. Now is the time to think clearly, take control, and assume direction of your life. Often the chariot appears when you are planning a trip or about to embark on a significant journey, be it literal or metaphorical. So like this black here, we have a black sphinx and a white sphinx. This black sphinx really speaks to the heart and the emotions. The white really speaks to like the head and the practical side. You don't want to be too emotional, too sensual, too much imagination. You also don't want to become so practical that you're too aggressive and you lack compassion. So this here is about balance between the mind and the heart, not being too much nor too little, and also not letting yourself be deceived by things that are overly fucking sensual. Going back to that whole polyamory thing, like you got to be able to detect when something is too sensual. Like the Empress card spoke to sensuality. There is such a thing as positive sensuality. Sinking your teeth into a fucking juicy ass pomegranate or a fucking pear or a piece of chicken or whatever the fuck you like to eat. That could be sensual. Giving yourself or getting a nice oil massage or a foot soak, that can be sensual. Having a bunch of sex with people you barely know is also sensual, but that's negative sensuality. Because see, what Lucifer does is takes good shit and tweaks it a little bit and it becomes bad shit, but you don't know that it is bad shit. And because it makes your flesh feel quote unquote good, you take it as good, but not everything that feels good is good. You have to have the mind knowledge to evaluate shit before you get into it just because you think it's going to make you feel good. And you don't want to get lost in that. This card here is about commanding both aspects of yourself, paying attention. Does it square? What's the energy like here? How does it feel? What spirits are present? They're only good or bad spirits, ain't none in between. Will this help me? Because if you be over sensual in a negative way, your body will feel quote unquote good. That's just your nervous system, but you're killing your soul. And you don't want to come to the end of your life and have this banged up ass soul inside of you because you've been living sensually in a negative, low vibrational way. And you haven't been paying attention to whether or not God has anything to do with the sensual things that you've been doing. And we have to get past this. If it feels good, do it. I'm not hurting nobody, do it. You might be hurting yourself and you don't realize it. Besides the spiritual bypass and the emotional bypassing, people go and hide themselves in a great litany of sensual things, and they get too far into like where this black phoenix is. It could be anything. A person could work in spiritual bypass. They could volunteer in spiritual bypass. They could give money to the poor in spiritual and emotional bypass. They can go to a whole bunch of counseling sessions with a psychiatrist and still use that to low key spiritual bypass. They could give gifts and do it. And of course, they can go on apps and they can doom scroll through social media and they can fuck all these people. We can hide ourselves in so goddamn many things, gambling, traveling, that make us feel good and give us sensations, magic, casting spells. But you gotta search your soul and use this white sphinx, this other side, to be fucking sure of your intentions, which means you have got to get quiet. I always recommend to people, since we're on card number 7, to take 7 fucking days to yourself. I would say at least if you can once a month, if not at least every month and a half, you need to be taking 7 days to yourself to not go out, to don't be hanging around people, don't have sex with people. I don't care if you're in a relationship. You need to take 7 days to yourself to really just get inside your fucking energy. Okay. And to that way you can be sure that you have not low key become deceived by sensual pleasures in your life and that your intentions still balance out with the divine, your soul and life purpose, or your pursuit of finding out what that soul and life purpose is. It is very, very dangerous when we come out of balance. It can be not easy to detect and it can still feel good, but then you're hurting yourself in the process. This happens when people say try to be too much for too damn many people and they take with like a fucking stroke, which I've seen that happen. Why? Well, they were doing good things. They certainly weren't hurting anybody. They were helping people. That can't be bad, right? But baby, if you're not slowing down enough to rest, to hear yourself, eat properly, detox, do all those things, you're not gonna be able to run on full throttle forever. And then if you have low vibrational energies that you're entertaining through all this odd ass sex you're having with people or laying down with people, or you got friends around you who are frenemies and you're not verifying that shit, or and you're not re-verifying it, if you've been in like polyamorous situations with all these people for years and you haven't and you don't check up on them every 6 months to a year to be sure they're still who the fuck you thought they were. Okay, assuming that they're always going to be that good old person, people go out getting all kinds of shit when they're not around you, just like you do. But some people get into very dark and nefarious things, and they don't just be saying, for all you know, that person who you in some sort of situation you're having sex with could be getting railed by 24 different dudes at a time every night, and she gonna come back and tell you, "Oh, I'm just at home meditating." You don't know what the fuck people are doing. You don't know that. And so you have to be questioning people, pay attention to what the fuck they're doing and how you feel when you're around them. I'm not saying worry. I'm saying you need to be more, you can't be no damn fool either and take shit for granted with folks and see what you think you want to see. This white sphinx here is about paying attention to what actually is presenting in front of you and not projecting onto it a past image. This is about telling yourself the truth at your motherfucking core and then acting on that shit. These sphinxes are here. He doesn't even have a fucking chain, a leash, or nothing on them. He's controlling them with his fucking mind. Okay, this is a deep ass card. The strength card is next. This is card numero ocho. This is card numero ocho. All this yellow showing up today. Yes. Of all the numbers in numerology, the number 8 is the achiever and measures life by the goals it reaches. It has good business sense, a powerful presence, and a strong drive for success. The 8 is also a symbol of balance. You can see it in its symmetrical shape. For every blessing it receives, it puts one back out to the universe. When things are balanced, they feel stable, controlled, and supported, which is the most productive environment for the 8 to work in. In Chinese culture, the number 8 is considered the luckiest number of all and is purposefully worked into wedding dates, birth dates, addresses, and finances. Even in the world of numerology, there are people who have been known to change their name in order to add more eights to their numerology chart, hoping to emulate this number's level of accomplishment. The eight represents the ultimate form of achievement that many will spend their entire lives striving for. So, with the goddamn, ain't that something? Life path is number eight. This is the card of Leo. The planet is the sun. This is a fixed sign occurring in midsummer. The element is fire. Fire. Let's read about the strength card. When upright, the strength slash lust card suggests the need to face a situation with courage, determination, and fortitude, which much as Hercules did when he confronted the Nemean lion. Your animal passions are stirring and may conflict with your civilized self. You are feeling lustily powerful and thoroughly enjoy the use of your body. Health improves and your energy increases. Issues related to sexuality come up for review. Boy have mercy. The connection of the strength card with the sign Leo and with the sun suggests that this may be a time of compassionate self-examination, which can lead to enlightenment. Leo is known for his warmth, generosity, and lusty enjoyment of life. I like how that says come up for review. Because I released a show not too long ago about how we're under judgment right now. It clicked on me after I had this, very fucking negative dream about somebody who is actually caught up, we'll say was by faith, caught up in very negative polyamorous energy. But what happens to one of us happens to all of us, or it can, because shit moves in cycles in the world. And when I had that dream, it clicked on me that we were in a time of judgment. What I wait till all the signs come together before I hop on the mic and say that. I had read it in the clouds a few months ago because I am an aeromancer and I can do cloud and weather divination. But I didn't say anything because I felt judgment coming, but I was like, okay, maybe, maybe not. Then I started hearing it in reports of death, people young dying and shit like that. And I started hearing it in reports of people getting hit by cars, here in New York and people traveling into New York reporting it. When we hear weird shit like that we don't just hear every fucking day, it could be an indication that like a judgment is about to pass over us all. And then when I had this dream about this person and I saw the judgment that is upon him for the way he's been living and everything, then it clicked and I was like, oh shit. And then I had been getting the judgment card in all my tarot spreads that I've been doing for like the last 2 months. I got 6 decks and Gabriel been following me around tooting that horn of his in all 6 of those decks. And some decks are not. Gabriel is a different angel. But nevertheless, there they were tooting them horns. And then it clicked when I had this dream the other night. So all this says up for review. When the judgment comes around, we come up for review. And whatever sensual things we've been doing, whatever good things we've been doing, it all comes up for review. But in this card here, yes, everything you've done, you will see it again. Everything you said, you will hear it again. There's no one and done. Everything will come back to you. That's why it's important to verify the energies on the front end and don't just do something because it feels good. What would this look like when it comes back to me? If you can't verify the energies going on with another person, then you're playing Russian roulette because you don't know what your karma gonna look like. It ain't worth it to bust a nut or to just feel not lonely for a night or a weekend if you spend it with somebody off a fucking grinder or some app or whatever the fuck. Let's slow down. Let's get real deep fucking relationships with people and find out what kind of damn attachment issues we have why we can't get close to people and just let love be love. Why are we running around acting a fool and doing all this extra shit that's not serving us and we know it? Not happier for it, not more confident for it, don't have no more self-esteem for it. Now you got some of you physical diseases and spiritual STDs from the things you've done to bypass rather than face your shadow. But this strength card here is about facing that shadow. It's about taming this line, which well in here in this good book is telling us stand for your sensual side and lust. There's nothing wrong with enjoying life, but having a good hot ass sexual time. But it's about doing it with control, with parameters, rather than willy nilly with whomever you happen to come across. And and actually having depth in your relationships and being sure you know people, even if you've known them a long time. Boning people for a long time still don't mean you know them. That was a key tenet in this terrible dream I had about this person the other night. These people he been banging has been like around him for years, if not decades, and he don't know these people, which shouldn't surprise you because people be marrying people all the time and be like, you know what? I never loved you. I know it's been 20 years. Thanks for the kids. I'm out. These people were married to. So your little people and your polycules and shit, you might know them, you might not. And it is what it is until the witch shows up and she witches all of y'all. And so with this card here, and you be thinking shit like that can't happen until it does. A warning comes before a fall, and nobody is immune to falling and complete and utter catastrophe and destruction and disaster in this life. But this card is about control, strength, self-control, making peace with your sensual side. We don't want to judge it like the church told us to. There's nothing wrong with sex, masturbation, our sexual drive is nothing more than something the divine put into us, calling us to connect with the divine and have a deeper connection with ourselves. That's why I love spiritual masturbation. And masturbation itself, that's how we connect with ourselves. It's beautiful. Masturbation is not secondary to sex. It's not. It's a different type of connection. But all of it, we can connect with the divine and with ourselves. We're with a partner, we're connecting with the divine, and with that partner, we're coming out of it with a more closeness to our partner and other things. Like you can use sexual transmutation and alchemy to like heal each other in your partnerships and stuff like that. But this is about making peace with it, not judging it. But we don't go from like what the church or our family told us to just condemn all forms of sex and run to being hoes. We go in between. We won't be too little and act like it's bad, and we won't be too much and act like however much of it we do and however much of it we do with whoever we do it is fine as long as it's not rape and it's consensual. We have to be more mature than to act like a child who can't get enough candy in the damn candy store and don't give a shit what the candy is or where it come from and ain't evaluating it, just gobbling it down. But we also can't be fucking draconic about it and act like everybody's supposed to run around with a chastity belt on either. You're supposed to be in between, neither too much nor too little. This queen right here, in this card has mastered her sensual desires. She's made her mistakes. She's owned up to them. And now she's chill. She'll let this line out to play. She'll let pussy out to play only when the time is right. Don't need to happen all day, every day. And mostly she's clearly good playing with her own pussy herself. She looks fine and damn dandy. Stroking this punani, okay, without no damn motherfucking fucking body else being around. You better learn how to love yourself and be comfortable in your own skin and in your own emotions. And from that, extend into allowing other people into your life and into your body, into your soul. When you have sex with somebody, you completely open up your soul to them. You don't hang out with other people thinking that that's better than hanging out by yourself. You need to figure out why you're so unhappy with yourself rather than going to be around other people's energy, because that's yet again another type of bypassing. There's a lot of people bypassing shit right now, and they're thinking that they're actually hitting the nail on the head, and you're not. That was another key tenet in that dream I had about that person. A lot of bypassing, sitting in front of therapists in this dream too, and still bypassing. Be careful, y'all. Speaking of getting alone, the Hermit is next. This motherfucker here is a strong, my God, it's one of my favorite cards in the deck. I'm just gonna tell you what I think about this card before I read the number. This old Gandalf the Grey looking dude right here, okay, is basically how I'm gonna be when I'm like 99 years old, still acting like I'm 14, swinging my dick and popping my pussy severely, which I will do, but when I'm but I also will code switch and get into this enlightenment mode. See how he's how big he is compared to these little ass mountains? This motherfucker here has achieved spiritual enlightenment. He's following that star. Some say this is the same star from the star card, which we'll talk about in another episode. His head's down like that because he's meditative. He's not up looking around at what the fuck's everybody else is doing. The hermit does not doom scroll on social media. The hermit does not have a Grinder account or a Tinder account. The hermit is quite happy with his own fucking self. The hermit, like Jesus, understands the value of isolation and getting alone so that you can achieve spiritual enlightenment because you're not always going to be on this earth to swing your dick and bounce your titties and pop your pussy. The hermit understands when he was young that he might not actually live to get old, and he did not take that shit for granted. Because most of the people that I have put in the ground at a funeral in this life have been under the age of 40. All right. It's how many damn old people do you see that die? Most people who die are fucking young. And so, why? Because they don't think they will. And I'm telling you, when you look at Jesus, you're not coming back to this earth. You're coming back, but you're coming back as a spirit. And this hermit understands it. He's patient. Another reason he's kind of looking down because this lamp is only giving enough light for the current step that he's on. This is a patient journey, one step at a time. It can't be rushed. He makes sure each one of these steps is highly fucking qualitative. He's not in a busy hustle running around trying to do everything and everyone. He's in his energy very motherfucking intentionally, learning about himself. Every now and then he will come out and engage as it makes sense, but he maintains balance. The hermit knows when to engage, when not. Like King Solomon said, there's a time to embrace, there's a time to refrain from embracing. And you've got to do more than just slow down for like a day. The reason why that is because people move so damn fast and they have so many energies tangled around them that they're not aware of. The reason why I tell you take 7 days to yourself at least every month and a half is because it's going to take you 2 or 3 days to fully slow down on a soul level, like internally, to wind down from your incessant activity. And I get you might have to work. That means when you get home from work, you just go home. You don't stop by happy hour. You don't stop and fuck your hoe on the way home. And you don't stop to see the girlfriend and shit like that. And if you married, you get home and your spouse knows that you're in an introspective time to give you space. All right. But you fucking go home and you be to yourself for 7 days. It takes 2 or 3 days to really wind down, and then the rest of that time, you can begin the true introspective work. And while you're there, you do spiritual baths or just take baths. You just do shit to cool the fuck off. Be you, work out, just do fucking you. And during this time, you can really think about the lessons you learned from the experiences that you all love to do your experiences so much that you have. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to be very positively intentional about it to be sure you're not doing low vibrational experiences that give you good sensual feelings. But you need that 7 days to integrate, to give yourself detox, give yourself time to reset. But that way you don't go out and make mistakes that you've been making that you could have caught had you taken time to reflect more than for a day. Partying it up or working and then going out for 30 to 40, 60 days straight and just intermittently taking a day or two off is not gonna cut it. The little 2-day weekend that people get from their jobs is also insufficient. That's why you have to like that's not enough. You need at least them evenings if you gotta go to work. 7 days to yourself. Now let me read what the fuck number 9 means. The energy of the number 9 represents completion, but not finality. Think of it more in a cyclical sense. It's about the ending of one cycle and the potential it creates for another cycle to begin. The 9 in numerology acts as an usher in this process of transition or transformation, guiding and empowering us with its wisdom. It absorbs answers from a spiritual source, then delivers them to us in the real world. This number is a humanitarian at heart. It is compassionate, kind, and intent on putting its efforts toward creating the greatest good. The 9 numerology has gone through its fair share of hardship and is wiser, stronger, and more aware as a result. These firsthand experiences make it especially understanding of others who are struggling and willing to provide valuable support. This is a very, very supportive card too, because he's chilling in his own energy. So he has energy to give, and you can give away what you don't have. Life path number 9, because this is card number 9. This is Zodiac sign is Virgo. This card is ruled by Saturn. This is a mutable sign, which occurs at the end of summer. Element is earth. When upright, the hermit indicates a need to spend time far from the maddening crowd. Now is the time to collect your thoughts and regroup your forces. A period of solitude and contemplation is in order. In this modern age of technology, Someone quipped that meditation provides the answers you can't find on Google. You have been through a lot, and the time has come to wait and watch. An attitude of patient circumspection will allow you to put matters in perspective and learn from your experience. You might consider reading Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. I did see a meme about that, like meditation provides the answers you can't find on Google. You can't go to Google and be like, Google, who am I? Siri, who am I? Siri, why do I have an avoidant attachment style and I don't want to let people get close to me, so I'm a hoe? You can't be like, Siri, why the fuck do I lie to myself and project that on other people? You you have to go into purposeful fucking isolation, spiritual isolation from time to time to process what's been done. Otherwise, you will get backed up in your mind and in your soul. Because remember, your soul knows you need this, but you won't give it that. So you're not in a good position, my children, if you're working against your own soul. You have a duality inside of you that's hurting you because your soul wants peace. It wants to be by itself. It wants to heal. It wants to process, and you want to keep doing because you got bad nerves and you got inner child issues and bad attachment styles from the past and from your childhood that you haven't resolved. And instead of stopping, so you can actually let yourself catch up to yourself and hear yourself. How did Pink say it? The silence scares me because it screams the truth. I'm gonna leave that right there and move on to this wheel of motherfucking fortune, which is a Sagittarius card. Deal with it. Deal with it. Deal with it. Deal with it. Okay, the number 10 reduces to the single digit of 1. The 0 appearing with the number 1 amplifies and magnifies the vibrations, energies, and attributes of the numbers it appears with. The number 10/1 brings all sorts of new changes into your life. There seems to be an element of luck within those energies. Through this vibration, you have the insight to recognize and understand the needs of humanity and the ability to bring peace and harmony to all. Number 10 resonates with the vibrations and energies of leadership, optimism, confidence, independence, creative power, success, energy, originality, adaptability, determination, and individuality. Leadership, confidence, optimism, energy, independence. They said that already. Creative power in every success, original, adaptable, individualization, determination. This is giving me that party monster vibe. I felt like going money, success, fame, glamour. Okay. Number 10 is the first digit with the 0 in the scale of vibrations, and this endows the individual with extra vitality. They may use this vitality to earn the crown of attainment and to maintain the symbol of wholeness. This is ruled by Sagittarius. Some places I read said Pisces too. The planet is Jupiter. Sagittarius is a mutable sign, which means it occurs at the end of a season. And Pisces also is a mutable sign also. And the element here, of course, is fire. So the Wheel of Fortune is a very interesting card here. Tens usually denote like the end of a cycle in the tarot. Like this reading was saying here, it's a very lucky ass fucking card. This would be a yes card if you pulled it in like a yes or no question, of course. You have the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac in the 4 corners here. You've got Taurus down here. Fuck, this is a Leo here. I know they all got wings, but that's just because they in the fucking clouds and they got to find a way to get up there. This is an eagle. That's the middle evolved stage of Scorpio. Then you have Aquarius over here, and they're all holding a book, which is the Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible. You have these words around here, which depends on how you read it. Could read tarot or different other things that I'll get into at another time. This little devil looking fucker down here, they say is Anubis, or you could call it Satan or whatever. There's a snake over here. We have another sphinx holding a sword. This is one of those very karmic um cards in the deck that can also pretend like judgment being upon you, judgment being good and bad. It just brings up every fucking thing, whatever it is you've done comes back up to the plate for review. This could mean shit is getting ready to go your way. It's just a hot ass fucking card. Very few people can find something negative to say about the Wheel of Fortune. It does, though, mean that these wheels of life will always be turning, which means you're going to go through good shit and bad shit. You have like all the air, water, earth, fire represented on these different signs. So this card has a lot going on. But as the wheels of life turn, it's not always going to be roses and peaches every day. We got to accept the quote unquote bad, which is when we get strengthened, along with the good, which when we get to enjoy the strength from going through the bad. So you read, when upright, the wheel of fortune reminds us that our good fortune is often the result of twists of fate rather than our own doing. Now is a time to Now is the time to enjoy your good luck because it can change just as rapidly tomorrow. If things are going well, be sure to make the best of it and put something aside for a rainy day. For the time being, destiny is smiling upon you. Seize the moment because an opportunity that presents itself today may not remain available tomorrow. Contemplate the lyrics of the Peter Seeger song, Turn, 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 which sets the biblical words to music. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, which is in the book of Ecclesiastes. Like I was saying earlier, anything is subject to change. You know, ever want to get so comfortable to think that you're guaranteed to get as old as the hermit card that I was showing you earlier in card 9, and you can just fuck off your youth, wait to get close to God. I've actually heard people say dumb shit like, we're going to figure out our religion when we get older. But what if you die tonight? I've, I've, just- I've known people who just died suddenly in car accidents and shit. They were like in their 20s and shit. You don't fucking know. So this also goes back to how I was saying if you could get sick and take with strokes and heart attacks and shit, you don't know what the fuck might happen. So you have to really, really gauge your energies today. The Major Arcana is about what the divine does. This card can mean blessings and just change. It depends on what's next to it in a whole spread. Depends on whether or not what way you think the wheel might turn. But this would usually mean that the shit's gonna turn around for your favor, though. But we don't want to take that for granted. We don't want to take it for granted. So slow down, take care of yourself, take care of your body, eat healthy, exercise, diet. Don't spread yourself too thin. Because like this reading was saying, destiny's smiling upon you today, but that might change tomorrow. Because eventually you're gonna have to do some sort of trial, tribulation circumstance to get new strength. But we tend to associate those sort of things with other cards like the Tower or the Death card or the Judgment card itself or or the World card, which will come later on. But anyway, we love the Wheel of Fortune, just like we love the game, and we love everything about this beautiful Sagittarius. And some people would say Piscean card here. We love, love, love the Wheel of Fortune. Good luck to you all. Now, our last card we're going to talk about is the Justice card as well, which is another karmic ass card, which has to do with your shit coming up for review. The I mean, in the major arcana, there's probably one, 2, 3, at least 5 or 6 different cards which talks about a review because the Lord don't let us go too long without some type of a review. You know, karma coming back around. It's not just coming back around for the sake of you getting your ass kicked by it or getting your good payback. It's about so you can have those while you're yet alive performance reviews before you die and face a final judgment at the end. That is why these karmic cycles come back around because it's set by the will of God and it's universal law and it can't be changed. But it's an opportunity to be how are we measuring up? How would God review us today? That person who I had that dream about that I've referenced, if today they failed their review, they failed it. You know, with all that I saw in that dream, God has assessed them as they have a lot of room to grow. But the loving thing about God is within the dreams like that. And when we come up for karmic review, We have a chance to go just like just like a performance review. Okay, I've been fucking up. I have a chance to change fucking up, or I could be a hard headed person and keep on doing what I'm doing and suffer the consequences. How does it say in the book of Proverbs, a righteous man foreseeth the danger and they hide themselves, but the foolish and the simple minded go on and are punished? Don't be so simple minded that you're not willing to let go of any person, place, or thing and fuck around and get your ass gobbled up in the process. Don't do that because if I tell you the people you rolling with having these sensual pleasures with, if you fall dead today, half of them wouldn't go to your funeral. If you catch with a stroke or a heart attack or a brain aneurysm, they might come to the nursing home or wherever to check on you for a little bit, but then they gonna go right back off and leave you because the whole base of your relationship is pleasure. And if you cannot give them pleasure in the way that they want to have it, then what use do they have of you anymore? You did not make sure these relationships were built on an emotional, mental, energetic, and spiritual foundation before they became sensual. As we say in Mexico, what starts over sex ends over sex. And I would say what starts over sensuality has to be maintained by sensuality, and it will end over sensuality or the lack of sensuality. Because remember, people are feeding off of each other in these sensual circles. They're not there for you. They're there for the energy they can get from you, like you are for them if you're about that life. And this is why some people like to act like masturbation is so substandard to actual oral sex with somebody or penetrative sex with somebody or orgies and all of that shit. No, what the truth is a person who's an energy vampire, whether they're aware of it or not, that they're practicing energy vampirism cannot siphon your energy the way they want to from a distance. Some witches are power enough to do that shit, so you have to be careful about that. But a sex witch really likes to get their hands on you, and somebody who's insecure or a narcissist or a sex addict really likes to get their hands on you. They don't have to be an official proclaimed witch because all magic is can be done subconsciously anyway. People who hate masturbation, a lot of times it's because they act like they have to have another person because they just want your fucking energy. They don't want you. Your body is just a means to an end for them. These experiences that y'all are having are a means to an end for a temporary type of satisfaction that will never fully satisfy you. But you're keeping yourself so busy that you can admit to yourself that you're not really satisfied. But when the justice shows up, all that bullshit gets cut away and you have to see shit for what the fuck it really is. And then the justice card is a card of fairness, clear fucking thought. Is one of the few double-edged swords in the deck, and this bitch ain't playing. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. This could speak to lawsuits, legal agreements, being fair-minded, seeing things from both perspectives, being just fair yet also compassionate, weighing the scales, and understanding when energies are being sure energies are balanced around you. Dynamics are balanced. Shit's being properly reciprocated in relationships, and not fighting for fairness and to not be taken advantage of in the relationships, but seeking balance. There is a difference in between approaching a relationship like you're not going to take advantage of me no matter what you do. I'm going to be sure this shit's fair, as opposed to well, I just want to be sure the energy stay balanced. So I'm bringing such and such up to date because it's starting to feel out of balance. So let's just seek balance. Like water, always try to find its level. Go at it like nobody, don't go at it like that, as opposed to you won't hurt me. You won't use me because it's very defensive. You don't want to go in with defensive energy or assuming someone wants to hurt you or projecting onto them from the past or some shit you haven't healed from your childhood. So just go in seeking balance. I don't care what it looks like, it just has to feel balanced. So this is card 11, the justice. The most remarkable characteristic of the master number 11 is its connection to a higher source of wisdom. It is intuitive to the point of being psychic, channeling its knowledge and meaning from a spiritual source. But the master numbers have a responsibility, and it's the number 11's duty to use this gift of awareness to deliver cosmic truths that encourage humanity. All master numbers are a higher vibration of their single digit counterpart. In the 11's case, the number 2. This means the 11 carries many of the same traits as the number 2, such as harmony, empathy, and sensitivity, but it feels them and utilizes them in much deeper, more profound ways. It's also important to remember that the number 11 is comprised of two ones side by side and therefore carries some attributes of the number 1 as well. One is innovative and motivated, open to new things and eager to make a difference. The contrasting energies of the numbers 1 and 2 join together in the master number 11 to make it a creative leader, active listener, and compassionate advisor. I can see all that right here. The number 11 is at one with the universe. It is open to vast spiritual concepts in the presence of a greater power. It is a channel for truth and answers to reach us and help us on our way. This master number's vision is crystal clear, and it sees with a breath that others cannot. It is creative and magnetic, a beacon of wisdom and hope for others to follow. The number 11 may come up at times in our lives, and it is always a message of connecting with our inner wisdom. If we are seeing repeating 11s everywhere we turn, we'd be wise to pay attention to our subconscious. There's some insight we may be missing. You ever see like 11:11 on a clock? When that happens, technically speaking, you could like close your eyes and make a wish. When you see 11:11 on a clock, some call that portals. And it can be a sign from God that you're transitioning or going through major changes, and that's a confirmation for you. It means changes are about to happen. Because those 11:11 looks like pillars, 111, 101, ones. It's kind of like a walking through kind of energy. The zodiac, the life path number, of course, is 11. Planet is Libra. Zodiac sign Libra. Planet is Venus. This is a Libra is a cardinal sign, which happens at the beginning of autumn. So let me read. The element is air. When upright, the Justice card suggests that your current situation hinges on matters of equilibrium, balance, fair treatment, and justice. If you are involved in a legal matter, it will be judged impartially and is likely to be decided in your favor, but only if you are in the right. If you are in the wrong, the same impartiality applies and you will be held accountable. In any decision you take now, it is essential to be honest and judicious in weighing the pros and cons. In the words of the Bible, be not deceived. God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that also shall he reap. Well, that's what I've been trying to tell y'all. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that also will he reap. Justice is supremely karmic. It complements like the wheel of fortune. It complements the judgment. It complements the world card. It complements the death card, in my opinion, and the tower. Those are some of the most karmic cards in the deck, and it's a part of the reviews that come up. If you are involved in a lawsuit, I hope you fucking win and get your coin. If you have done wrong and you end up getting your ass kicked by the justice, charge it to the game, take it on the chin, learn from it, integrate the lessons so that you don't do it again. Because you don't want him to come out with his sword swinging any more than is necessary. And maybe that the next time that his sword swings, that it's in your favor and not against you. Be careful with your karma and how you spend your time. I will preach this till I'm blue in the face because I've seen so many people get wrecked because they don't understand that you have like soul karma. You cannot treat your soul bad by making bad decisions and expect good things. So you got to pay attention to who you're hanging out with, their energies, what you're doing. Don't abuse yourself with too much drugs, too much alcohol, too much sensuality. I don't care for porn, but I guess if you just and I don't care for it because it gives people bad education. It's not even good education. It teaches people to have sex and have sensuality without doing the work for depth and connection. And so that's why I don't like it. I don't like fucking dating apps. Is the same thing. It's instant gratifications, but you don't actually have to vocalize your feelings for people. And then when you meet somebody who can vocalize their feelings, you look at them like they got three fucking Hydra heads because you have not exercised that part of you. Porn and dating apps cheat people out of their equanimity and out of being who they are, but it makes them feel very sensual and sexual at the same time. It is a trick of the devil. That is a quantifiable reason why it is that way. And people have whined to me, sending me messages going, and I'm not complaining about that, I can handle it, going, "Why can't I watch porn? What's wrong with dating apps? I'm not hurting anyone." I'm like, "Baby, baby, baby, baby. You're hurting you." And when it comes to but the thing with the devil is he gonna make you feel good today, but you won't understand how you shortchange yourself till down the road, that the changes are subtle. And and then there's energies and shit that transfer through pornography and through these apps. It doesn't matter. Everything is energy, everything is spirit. You see somebody's face in a square, it's kind of like a drawing or these cards, their energy is reverberating through that phone. This is why we can do tarot readings and Reiki and shit over Zoom. Energy knows no distance. It- and then when you got wild ass energy from somebody's sex that you're watching, and you don't know those people, you have no idea, what the fuck kind of spirits those people are involved in or who they are and souls, and you're watching that porn and opening your soul up to it through being sexual while you're watching it or whatever. You are losing yourself in the things that bring you sensual satisfaction as your mind is interpreting sensual satisfaction. A part of your karma, when it comes back up, is not just how you treated other people, but how you treated that soul within you. Okay? So these are our first 12 cards. When I return to you the next time, we will be discussing our other cards starting from number 12, which will be the Hanged Man. And then we will head on to the World. And that is going to, which is card number 21, which is the 22nd card in the deck. And then we will end that. And after that, we will start with our suits. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you all really integrate this. I'm not attacking anybody. I love you. I really, really do. And I want to see love you, not, to really, really fall in love with you is really what I want to see you do. And that's why I harp on these things, because I watch so many people chase after this and that and the next, and they don't really chase themselves, which can only be done in isolation. And then, how many people do we see have all the things and do all the things and are fucking and doing all the people, and they go kill themselves? It's not about sensuality. It's about individuality and finding your purpose and your value within and by yourself with your God. Glory, hallelujah. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Anyway, this is DeVannonSeraphino signing off. Until next time. Mwah. Thank you all so much for joining us today and for taking some time to invest into yourself and into the lives of your loved ones. Please visit us at sexdrugsandjesus.com and check out our resource page, our spiritual service offerings, my blog, my books, and other writings that God has partnered with me to create. Find us on any social media platform. Stay strong, my people, and just remember that everything is going to be all right.